Welcome back, my friends. This is Stoic Habit Builder. Here, we don't just talk about philosophy, we live it. This is the place where ancient Stoic wisdom meets modern life, giving you the tools to grow stronger, more disciplined, and unshakable in the face of life's chaos. What if I told you the biggest thief of your success isn't your boss, your bills, or even bad luck, but something far more subtle? It's distraction. The endless notifications, the social media scroll, the tiny dopamine hits stealing your focus every single day. And yet, most people don't even notice it. Until years later when their dreams have slipped away. But you don't have to be most people. Today, we're going to discover how to reclaim your mind, take back control of your life, and build unstoppable strength. The Stoic way. Have you ever noticed how modern life feels like a storm you can't escape? Everywhere you look, social media, endless notifications, constant news updates, something is demanding your attention, and without even realizing it, we get pulled into a cycle of distraction, chasing quick pleasures, scrolling for hours, and comparing our lives to everyone else's highlight reel. But here's the hard truth. If you don't take control of yourself, the world will gladly do it for you. If you don't set your own priorities, you become a puppet, dancing to the strings of society's demands, instead of moving to the rhythm of your own purpose. Think about this. A great pianist doesn't wake up one morning and suddenly play a flawless concerto. No, the real progress happens in the quiet hours when no one is watching. It's the endless repetition of scales, the aching fingers, the moments of failure when quitting seems easier than continuing. Yet, through that silent discipline, beauty is born. Success is never loud at the beginning. It's quiet, invisible, and often misunderstood. And this is exactly what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus meant when he said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things." What does that mean for us? It means, if you're serious about growth, you must be willing to look different, even strange, to the outside world. You might choose discipline over comfort. You might say no to the late-night party, the endless scrolling, the easy dopamine hit, because you're focused on something deeper, something lasting. Let me ask you, when was the last time you did something that looked foolish to others, but you knew it was an investment in your future? Maybe it was waking up early to read instead of sleeping in. Maybe it was turning off your phone so you could finally focus. Or maybe it was saying no to an opportunity that looked shiny, but didn't align with your values. The Stoics remind us that true progress is not measured by applause, likes, or recognition. It's measured by the strength of your character, the clarity of your mind, and the peace in your heart. And those things, they are forged in silence, in discipline, in moments when no one is watching. So, as we begin this journey together, I invite you to pause and reflect. Are you living as the master of your own life, or have you handed the strings to the chaos of the outside world? Because the choice is always yours, and the first step begins now. Part 1. Discovering the root of distraction. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it so hard to stay focused? Why is it that every time you sit down to learn a new skill, read a book, or finish an important project, within minutes you find yourself scrolling on your phone, lost in endless notifications and meaningless debates? The truth is this: we live in a world drowning in noise. The constant ping of notifications, the flood of social media, the 24/7 news cycle, and the arguments that lead nowhere. All of it is stealing your focus, your energy, and even your dreams. Let me give you an example. Meet Andy. Andy had a goal: to learn a new skill that would change his future. But the moment a notification popped up on his screen, he was pulled into an online debate. One video led to another. One post dragged him into hours of pointless scrolling. And in the end, Andy didn't move forward at all. He was stuck, trapped in the cycle of distraction. Epictetus once said, "If someone tried to take your body, you'd fight back in anger. But you hand over your mind to anyone who interrupts you." Think about that. We protect what we own physically, but when it comes to our attention, the very core of our life, we give it away freely to whoever knocks at the door. So why do we let this happen? The answer lies in dopamine. Every time you scroll through social media, watch a short video, or play a quick game, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, a chemical reward that feels good instantly. Over time, you become addicted to these small bursts of pleasure, and you lose the patience required to pursue long-term goals. Consider this: reading a 300-page book, mastering a new skill, or transforming your body through consistent training. These things take time, discipline, and the ability to embrace boredom. But your brain, conditioned by quick dopamine hits, resists, and so distraction becomes the silent thief, robbing you of your future one day at a time. So what's the solution? First, identify your distractions. Is it social media? Noisy group chats? The habit of turning on the TV as soon as you get home? If you don't recognize them, you'll always be controlled by them. Second, set rules for yourself. Limit your screen time. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Redesign your environment to remove temptations. Small acts of discipline compound into massive strength over time. And most importantly, have a clear, meaningful goal to focus on. Because if you don't know where you're going, every distraction becomes a path you wander down. But when you have a goal that truly matters, the little temptations lose their power. Now you may be wondering, can I really do this? The answer is yes, but only if you begin with small actions. Only if you take back control of your own mind. Only if you refuse to let the outside world decide the quality of your inner world. Part 2. Why you must take control of your life. Epictetus once said, "The free person is the one who lives as they wish, who is neither compelled nor hindered." But let's pause here. What does freedom really mean? Most people think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Sleeping in, eating whatever feels good, binge-watching shows, ignoring responsibilities. But that's not freedom. That's slavery. Slavery to impulses, to distractions, to habits that weaken us. True freedom is not the ability to do anything. It's the strength to choose the right thing. It's having control over your own mind and actions. It's discipline. Because without discipline, your so-called freedom only leads to regret. Think about your own life. How many times have you dreamed of something? Learning a language, starting a business, writing a book, only to see that dream slowly fade away. Not because you weren't capable, but because you allowed distractions to win. You let old habits take the wheel, and in the end, the dream became nothing more than a painful reminder of what could have been. Take language learning, for example. Imagine you decide to study Spanish or French. You're excited at first, but then you skip one day, then two. Suddenly, weeks go by, and the fire you once had is gone. All that's left is a sense of regret. Why? Because distractions were in control, not you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Life will throw storms, setbacks, and temptations your way. You can't control those, but you can control how you respond, what you focus on, and whether you honor your commitments to yourself. So how do we reclaim control of our lives? The Stoics give us a path, a simple but powerful 4-step process. Step 1. Eliminate weak habits. Take a hard look at your daily routine. Which habits are silently draining your energy? Maybe it's endless scrolling, late-night snacking, or procrastination. The first step to freedom is cutting away the chains that keep you small. Step 2. Set clear goals and commit with persistence. A vague dream will always die, but a clear, defined goal gives you direction. And persistence, showing up day after day, even when motivation fades, is what turns that vision into reality. Step 3. Learn to say no. This might be the hardest one. You can't say yes to everything and expect to live with purpose. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your own growth. Saying no is not weakness, it's strength. Step 4. Focus on what you can control. You can't control the economy, politics, or what people think about you, but you can control your thoughts, your effort, and your choices. That's where your true power lies. Now let me ask you, are you really living free? Or are you trapped by habits you refuse to let go of? Are you steering your life forward? Or are you drifting, hoping things will magically change? The truth is, no one can take control of your life for you. Not your boss, not your family, not society. Only you can. And the moment you decide to take back that power, to choose discipline over comfort, focus over distraction, that's the moment you stop being a prisoner of circumstance and start being the master of your own destiny. So as you move forward, remember, freedom isn't found in doing whatever feels good in the moment. It's found in discipline, clarity, and the courage to live by your own principles. The choice is in your hands. Will you control your life or let your life control you? Part 3. Discipline and Sacrifice. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that truth cuts deeper than most people realize. Because here's the reality. Discipline is not a cage. It's a key. It's not about restriction. It's about liberation. Without discipline, you're chained to laziness, to moods, to fleeting emotions. But with discipline, you're free. Free to chase greatness, free to build the life you actually want. We often wait for motivation before we act. But motivation is fickle. Some mornings you wake up inspired, but most mornings, you don't. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline means you act whether you feel like it or not. You don't negotiate with your excuses. You move forward anyway. Take Michael Phelps, for example, the most decorated Olympian of all time. Do you think he became a legend because he was simply talented? No. He trained 365 days a year, even on birthdays, even on holidays. He sacrificed parties, comfort, and countless moments of rest. While others were sleeping, he was swimming. While others were celebrating, he was grinding in silence. And that relentless discipline brought him 23 Olympic gold medals. That's not luck. That's not talent alone. That's sacrifice and discipline transforming potential into immortality. And here's the lesson. Talent may open the door, but only discipline and sacrifice carry you through it. Without them, your gift remains unrealized. With them, you can achieve what others call impossible. The Stoics understood this. They lived by a principle. Act in silence. Let your results speak for you. In today's world, everyone wants to show their progress, to post every small step online, to get validation. But true power is built in the shadows, without applause. It's the invisible hours of effort that eventually shine on the biggest stage. So let me ask you, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because every achievement has a price. If you want health, you must sacrifice comfort foods. If you want wealth, you must sacrifice impulse spending. If you want mastery, you must sacrifice endless distractions. The question is not whether you will sacrifice. The question is, what will you sacrifice for the life you say you want? Think about your own journey. Maybe you've been holding on to comfort too tightly. Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start. But deep down, you already know, discipline and sacrifice are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Freedom doesn't come from avoiding effort. It comes from conquering yourself. And once you master that, once you can silence the excuses, once you can stay consistent when it is hard, you unlock a level of freedom most people will never know. So remember this, discipline is not your enemy. It is your ally. Sacrifice is not punishment. It is the price of greatness. And the moment you embrace them, you stop living at the mercy of chance, and you start living as the master of your destiny. Part 4. Planning and focused success is never an accident. It's not luck. It's the result of consistent, deliberate action repeated day after day. The difference between someone who merely dreams and someone who achieves lies in how they use their time. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. But have you ever wondered why some people create legacies while others struggle just to get by? The answer is simple. The successful don't just spend their time, they invest it. They guard it like treasure, and they use it with clarity and purpose. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you don't have a consistent goal in life, you cannot live it in a consistent way." Think about that. Without a clear target, life becomes scattered. You move from one distraction to another, pulled in every direction, but never moving forward. Let's look at an example. Haruki Murakami, one of the greatest contemporary writers. His life is proof of what planning and focus can achieve. Every single day, he wakes up at 4 a.m. He writes for 4 to 6 hours without interruption. In the afternoon, he runs or swims to strengthen his body. In the evening, he reads and studies to sharpen his mind. And he has repeated this simple, disciplined routine for decades. The result? Timeless masterpieces that have touched millions of readers across the globe. Now, let me ask you, do you have a clear plan for your own life? Or are you drifting, hoping things will somehow fall into place? Because here's the truth. Without a plan, distractions will write your story for you. Your time will get stolen by endless notifications, mindless scrolling, and other people's agendas. But when you have a clear plan, you're in control. You decide where your energy goes, and every day becomes a step closer to your vision. Here's the lesson. Create a clear plan. Define exactly what matters to you, and schedule it. If it's not on your calendar, it's not real. Protect your time from distractions. Every yes to distraction is a no to your future. Learn to guard your focus like it's gold, because it is. Understand that discipline equals freedom. It might sound like a paradox, but the more disciplined you are with your schedule, the more freedom you have to create, to grow, and to live on your own terms. The Stoics remind us that a life without focus is a wasted life. They believed that to live with purpose is to live with strength, and that strength is not built in one grand moment. It's built through the small, consistent choices you make every single day. So, reflect for a moment. What would your life look like 1 year from now if you committed to a focused plan today? What could you achieve if you protected your mornings, your energy, your time, with the same discipline as Murakami? The answer is simple. You would become unstoppable. Remember, planning and focus are not chains. They are tools of freedom. They are what allow you to break free from chaos and step into a life of clarity, achievement, and peace. The choice is always yours. Drift through life, or design it with purpose. Part 5. The process matters more than the result. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly proud of yourself? Was it when you reached a goal? Or was it during the long, difficult journey of getting there? One of the most powerful Stoic truths is this: the process matters more than the result. Epictetus once said, "Before you can become who you want to be, you must first decide what you want, and then act accordingly." Think about that for a moment. Success isn't a trophy someone hands you. It's a path you choose to walk every single day. The reality is, lasting success doesn't arrive in a single moment of victory. It is born from years of persistence, failures, lessons, and small steps repeated again and again. We often look at entrepreneurs, athletes, or artists and admire their achievements, but what we don't see are the thousands of hours behind the scenes, the practice, the sweat, the discipline, and the sacrifice that nobody claps for. Take any world-class musician or best-selling author. The moment they walk onto the stage or release a masterpiece, the world applauds. But behind that applause are countless mornings of doubt, long nights of frustration, and endless days of hard, silent work. That is the process, and it is far more valuable than the spotlight. Because here's the truth. Real success isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about becoming the kind of person capable of reaching it. You don't simply achieve a goal, you transform yourself along the way. Every failure shapes you. Every repetition strengthens you. Every setback teaches you resilience. And in the end, you don't just win. You grow into someone who deserves the win. But here's the danger. If all you care about is the result, you will likely give up long before you get there. Why? Because results take time. They rarely come fast. And if you can't find joy, meaning, or at least peace in the process itself, you won't have the patience to stick around long enough to see the reward. Think about fitness. If someone only works out because they want a perfect body, chances are they'll quit when results don't show up fast enough. but the person who learns to enjoy the daily process, the feeling of becoming stronger, the discipline of showing up, the clarity after a run, that person will last. And because they last, they succeed. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote about finding peace not in outcomes, but in living rightly each day. Seneca reminded us that fortune can take away our external rewards at any time, but it can never take away the effort, the growth, or the discipline we've cultivated. Epictetus taught that freedom comes not from controlling results, but from controlling how we live and act in each moment. And here is the beautiful paradox. When you shift your focus from obsessing over results to committing to the process, you often end up achieving far greater results anyway. Why? Because you are no longer distracted by the finish line. You are fully present in the steps that actually get you there. So the next time you set a goal, don't just ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? Ask instead, who do I need to become? What daily process will shape me into that person? Because when you fall in love with the journey, success is no longer a distant prize. It becomes your way of life. And that is the Stoic path. Peace, discipline, and freedom found not at the end of the road, but in the way you walk it every single day. Part 6. The Power of Solitude. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you were truly alone? Not lonely, but alone. There's a big difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness feels empty, like something is missing. But solitude, that's different. Solitude is strength. It's the space where you turn inward, where the noise of the world fades, and your inner voice finally gets the chance to speak. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And he was right. Most of our stress, most of our anxiety, isn't caused by the world itself. It's caused by the constant noise in our minds, amplified by distractions, comparisons, and the endless chatter around us. Solitude is the cure. Think about it. We live in an age where silence is almost impossible to find. Our phones buzz, our feeds scroll endlessly, people demand our attention every second. And yet, some of the most powerful breakthroughs in history came not from noise, but from stillness. Writers, artists, and visionaries didn't create their greatest works in the middle of chaos. They created them in solitude. Haruki Murakami retreats into hours of silence to write. Beethoven often walked alone in nature, carrying his notebooks, listening to melodies within. Even Marcus Aurelius, an emperor ruling an empire, carved out quiet moments each morning to journal, reflect, and realign himself before facing the demands of Rome. So let me ask you, when was the last time you gave yourself permission to disconnect? To step away from the noise, the opinions, the endless flood of information, and just sit with yourself? Here's the truth. Solitude isn't about shutting out the world. It is about recharging your mind so you can face it with strength. It's not weakness. It's not isolation. It's fuel. In solitude, you clarify your goals. In solitude, you reset your emotions. In solitude, you rebuild your inner power. And here's the paradox. When you can stand strong in solitude, you become stronger in relationships too. Because you are no longer seeking validation, no longer desperate for approval. You enter the world not as someone needy, but as someone grounded, centered, and whole. The Stoics believed that real freedom is not about controlling what happens around you. It is about mastering what happens within you. Solitude is where that mastery begins. It's the gym where your mind trains, the sanctuary where your spirit breathes. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I don't have time. My schedule is too full. My life is too noisy. And I get it. But solitude doesn't always mean disappearing into the mountains for weeks. It can be as simple as waking up 15 minutes earlier to sit quietly with your thoughts. It can be journaling at the end of the day. It can be a walk without your phone. What matters isn't how long, it's how intentional. Even a small pocket of solitude, practiced consistently, can change everything. Because here's the truth. When you avoid solitude, you avoid yourself. And if you avoid yourself, How can you ever know your true strengths, your true desires, your true purpose? So I challenge you. Find your solitude. Protect it. Practice it. Not as an escape, but as a source of power. Because in solitude, you don't just recharge, you rediscover who you really are. And once you master that, the noise of the world can never shake you again. Let me leave you with this truth. Real strength doesn't come from noise, from bragging, or from chasing validation. Real strength comes from within. It comes from choosing to prioritize your growth, your discipline, your purpose, day after day, even when nobody is watching. The Stoics understood this. They lived by it. Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, all of them knew that freedom and power are born not in the applause of others, but in the silent victories you win against yourself. Think about it. Success isn't about who can shout the loudest, post the most, or show off their achievements. Success belongs to those who quietly wake up early, who put in the hours, who stay disciplined when comfort whispers, "Take it easy." Success belongs to those who sacrifice temporary pleasures for long-term greatness. Michael Phelps didn't become the most decorated Olympian by telling the world about his training. He did it by grinding in silence, 365 days a year. Haruki Murakami didn't write timeless novels by waiting for inspiration. He built them word by word, day by day, in disciplined solitude. And the same truth applies to you and me. Here's the reality. The world may never see the nights you stayed up working, the mornings you pushed through fatigue, or the countless times you resisted distraction. But those moments matter. They are the bricks that build unshakable character. And character, that inner strength, is what carries you through every challenge life throws your way. The Stoic path is simple, but it's not easy. Prioritize yourself, stay disciplined, embrace sacrifice, and let your results speak louder than your words. That's how true power is built. Not overnight, not by accident, but through consistent, quiet action. And maybe that is the greatest paradox of all. When you stop chasing recognition and start focusing on the process, success begins to follow you. When you no longer need the world's approval, you become unstoppable. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and move on. Take one step today. Maybe it's writing down your goals. Maybe it's turning off distractions for 1 hour. Maybe it is showing up to do the hard work even though you don't feel like it. Start small, but start. Because your strength is forged not in what you say you'll do, but in what you actually do in silence. If this message resonates with you, I want you to declare it. Go to the comments right now and write, "Silence creates strength." Let it be your reminder, your commitment, your first step in this journey of growth. And if you found value here, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe. Because we're building a community of people who refuse to settle for comfort, who choose discipline, focus, and inner power instead. Remember this, the world doesn't need more noise. The world needs more people of substance, people of discipline, people who live by their actions, not just their words. Be that person. Build that strength. And let your silence be the loudest thing about you.